On July 28, 2025, the hum of a New York City morning was shattered by violence at 345 Park Avenue, home to the NFL's headquarters. Shane Tamura, a 27-year-old from Las Vegas, arrived with a mission fueled by years of pain and anger. His story began not with this act, but on California football fields, where repeated head injuries set him on a tragic path. Tamura's family later revealed his struggles: concussions, migraines, and worsening mental illness. His journey from hopeful athlete to perpetrator forces us to confront the hidden dangers of the sports we love. The events of that day were the culmination of Tamura's anguish, targeting the league he blamed for his suffering. This tragedy reignited urgent questions about brain injuries and the invisible wounds carried by athletes. The chaos began when Tamura entered the building, his intentions hidden until it was too late. A simple mistake, taking the wrong elevator, thwarted his plan to target the NFL offices, but did not prevent catastrophe. 4 innocent people lost their lives: Alan Etienne, a security guard; Didarul Islam, an off-duty NYPD officer; Wesley LePatner, a Blackstone executive; and Julia Hyman, a building employee. NFL employee Craig Clementi was seriously wounded. As law enforcement swarmed the scene, Tamura turned the gun on himself, leaving behind devastation and questions. The city was left searching for answers. Why did this happen? Investigators soon found a note from Tamura, offering a chilling glimpse into his tormented mind. The note pointed to a hidden medical condition, shifting the investigation from crime to the damaged pathways of his brain. To truly understand the tragedy that unfolded, we must first look back at the life of Shane Tamura, a young man whose story is as complex as it is heartbreaking. Shane was born into a loving family, remembered by those close to him as a bright, energetic child with a contagious smile. But beneath the surface, his life would be shaped by forces he could never have anticipated. He began playing tackle football at just 6 years old, joining local teams and quickly becoming known for his determination and toughness on the field. For years, he endured countless hits and collisions, each one leaving a mark that no one could see. As he grew older, Tamura's physical and emotional struggles intensified. He suffered from chronic migraines, deepening depression, and a series of escalating mental health crises that left his family deeply concerned for his well-being. His family reported that Shane experienced numerous concussions and relentless, debilitating headaches. Despite seeking medical help, the true root of his suffering remained elusive, leaving both Shane and his loved ones searching for answers. Over time, Tamura became convinced that football had irreparably damaged his brain. This belief grew into a deep anger toward the NFL, whom he blamed for hiding the sport's dangers and failing to protect its players. His obsession with the league's responsibility consumed him, turning his pain and confusion into a personal vendetta. He spent hours researching, writing, and reliving his own trauma, unable to escape the shadow football had cast over his life. In a desperate attempt to find justice, Shane set out on a cross-country drive to New York, determined to confront the NFL and hold them accountable for what he believed they had done to him and countless others. Shane Tamura's story is not that of a cold-blooded killer, but of a tormented individual whose invisible injuries, both physical and psychological, ultimately led to devastation for himself and those around him. His life is a tragic example of how unseen wounds, left untreated and misunderstood, can manifest in the most destructive and heartbreaking ways imaginable. Shane's case forces us to confront a difficult question: how many other former players and their families might be silently suffering from the long-term effects of a game they once loved? In the aftermath, investigators found Tamura's note, a desperate plea and furious indictment of the NFL. He accused the league of concealing the dangers of football to maximize profits, blaming his mental health struggles on physical brain damage. Tamura's note requested, "Study my brain, please." This chilling appeal shifted the narrative from random violence to a targeted act rooted in a medical crisis. His request for a CTE study became pivotal, reframing him as a casualty of the game. The note was both an indictment and an apology. "I'm sorry." It revealed a man aware of his actions, yet compelled by forces beyond his control. Tamura's final words ensured his story would spark a new chapter in the conversation about football and brain health. Tamura's plea brought CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, into the spotlight. CTE is a progressive brain disease caused by repeated head trauma, not just concussions but also smaller impacts. Over time, these hits trigger abnormal changes, leading to brain tissue deterioration and tau protein buildup. Once thought to affect only boxers, CTE is now found in football players at all levels, even those who never played professionally. The disease can only be diagnosed after death, by examining brain tissue for tau protein patterns. Symptoms range from mood changes and impulsivity to memory loss and dementia. Diagnosing CTE in living patients remains a challenge, as symptoms overlap with other conditions. Tamura's case is a stark reminder of the long-term risks of head injuries in sports. CTE, or Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy, is a progressive brain disease that physically alters the structure and function of the brain, with its most profound effects often seen in the frontal lobes. These regions act as our command center, responsible for judgment, decision-making, and impulse control. When CTE damages these areas, it disrupts the very systems that help us weigh consequences and manage our emotions. Damage to the frontal lobes can fundamentally change a person's personality, making it much harder to regulate emotions, control impulses, and respond appropriately to stress. People may become more irritable, anxious, or prone to emotional outbursts, even if they were calm and collected before. Dr. Anne McKee, a leading CTE researcher, has demonstrated through years of study that this kind of brain damage can lead to impulsivity, poor decision-making, and even rage-filled behaviors that seem out of character. Her research has helped us understand why some individuals with CTE act in ways that shock their loved ones. While not everyone with CTE becomes violent, the disease can dramatically lower the threshold for dangerous outbursts. Everyday frustrations that most people can shrug off may trigger explosive reactions in those with CTE, putting themselves and others at risk. In Tamura's case, the combination of impaired judgment, emotional instability, and a predisposition to rage may have created a perfect storm. He may have struggled to see solutions or alternatives, feeling trapped by his own thoughts and emotions. His deep obsession with the NFL and his inability to imagine a life outside of football could have been fueled by the changes CTE caused in his brain. The disease may have narrowed his focus, making it difficult to adapt or seek help. Ultimately, CTE may have stripped away the very mechanisms meant to keep destructive impulses in check, leaving Tamura vulnerable to actions he might never have considered before his brain was injured. Tamura's story is a chilling example of how brain injury can rewire behavior, turning ordinary struggles into dangerous crises. It's a stark reminder that the effects of CTE go far beyond memory loss or confusion. They can reshape the very core of who a person is. As we learn more about CTE, Tamura's case raises urgent questions about the unseen consequences of repeated head trauma, not just for athletes, but for anyone exposed to repeated brain injuries. 2 months later, the medical examiner confirmed Tamura had low-stage CTE. This diagnosis proved his brain was damaged by years of football, even though he never played professionally. Tamura's case showed that youth and high school football alone can trigger this devastating disease. However, experts cautioned, CTE's role in the shooting was not clear-cut. Having CTE does not mean someone will become violent. Many with the disease never are. Tamura's actions were likely the result of complex factors: CTE, mental illness, and personal struggles. The diagnosis provided answers, but also raised new questions about the link between brain injury, mental health, and violence. Tamura's story underscores the need for more research and understanding. Did CTE cause Tamura's violence? Scientists say it's not that simple. CTE damages judgment and impulse control, but a direct link to premeditated violence isn't proven. Millions have played contact sports without becoming violent. Experts believe CTE may lower the threshold for aggression in those already at risk due to mental illness or trauma. Tamura's depression and paranoia may have been worsened by CTE, but his actions were likely the result of many converging factors. Blaming CTE alone oversimplifies a complex tragedy. The real lesson: CTE can contribute to a downward spiral, especially when combined with other risks. The tragedy at 345 Park Avenue is a wake-up call. Football's risks extend far beyond the field, touching lives in ways we often fail to see. It's a stark reminder that the consequences of the game can ripple through families, communities, and the very fabric of our society. The pain and loss are not confined to the stadium. They echo in living rooms, hospitals, and hearts across the nation. We must fund research to understand, diagnose, and prevent CTE. Only through dedicated scientific inquiry can we uncover the mysteries of brain trauma and develop real solutions. This means supporting innovative studies, encouraging collaboration between medical experts, and ensuring that findings are shared openly for the benefit of all athletes, present and future. Sports leagues at every level must prioritize player safety, stricter concussion protocols, safer tackling, and education for all. This includes regular training for coaches, mandatory safety briefings for players, and ongoing evaluation of equipment and rules. By making safety a core value, we can help prevent tragedies before they happen. Parents, coaches, and players deserve full transparency about the risks. Open conversations and honest information empower families to make informed choices. It's essential that everyone involved understands both the rewards and the dangers, so they can protect the well-being of every young athlete. Support systems for former athletes are critical. Access to neurological and psychological care, support groups, and transition programs. These resources help athletes navigate life after sports, address lingering injuries, and find community among those who understand their struggles. No one should have to face these challenges alone. No athlete should feel as isolated as Tamura did. We must break the silence and stigma surrounding mental health in sports, encouraging open dialogue and offering a helping hand to those in need. The story is a tragedy with many victims, the innocent lives lost, the families left behind, and a young man destroyed by invisible wounds. Each loss is a call to action, urging us to do better for those who come after. Tamura's plea, "Study my brain," must not be in vain. His courage in seeking answers can light the way for future generations, inspiring us to pursue knowledge and compassion in equal measure. Let it inspire change, so the love of the game never comes at the cost of a healthy mind. We owe it to every child who dreams of playing, and to every family who cheers them on, to make sports safer and more supportive. The future of sports depends on it. By working together, we can protect the next generation of athletes and ensure that their passion for the game leads to bright, healthy futures.